In this video, I will be directly responding to the Austrian school, particularly with regards to their conception of subjective value. This is a very terrible idea, and this theory of value is supposed to explain prices, yet as we can see by giving the specific words of Böhm-Bawerk, this doesn't do the job at all. In fact, the Austrian school is frankly facetious. It's almost infantile in its attempt to explain anything in a modern economy. Now, the central conception of the Austrian school is utility when it comes to value. Now, firstly, they're completely wrong on why people engage in production to begin with. Firstly, modern production is not done for the fulfillment of needs. It's done for whatever will turn a profit on the market. People don't just produce something because people need it. They do it because it'll make money, which is why we have so many people around the world with not enough food and people without clean water, even though there very clearly is a desperate need for them because they don't have any money to buy it, so the market doesn't provide it. Now, another problem is that they don't see the act of exchange in an evolutionary form. They just see it as something that has always existed. It just came into existence and may one day cease to exist. Now, this is wrong because it doesn't accurately describe why people engage in production. They say, now a natural economy, say a tribal society, presupposes that the production of commodities has a value to the economy that produced it, because the tribal societies didn't sit around making useless things that didn't go anywhere. They had to produce the things they needed to survive. Now, in the next stage in evolution, the surplus that's produced loses its use value. When this happens, the commodities are no longer evaluated according to their utility by the producer, as he no longer has a use for them. This is also known as primitive accumulation. People produce for themselves, and whatever surplus they produce, they sell off or exchange for something else. In other words, they're really producing for their own needs, not for other people's needs. There just happens to be a surplus that they exchange for other things. Now, in the final stage of development, rather the modern capitalist economy, the commodity producer has no utility. The commodity producer has no utility at all for the producer. People don't go into production for themselves to fulfill their own needs. They do it purely for the act of exchange. A capitalist doesn't begin building TVs or build a business of building TVs just because he wants one. He does it because he's going to sell them. Thus, we can see that there is no evaluation of commodities based on their utility by the economies that produces them. This has never actually been the case. In the final stage of development, the commodity producer has no utility at all for the producer. Now, that's an important point because this is about utility. So this person is not building something because it has a utility. They are building something and selling it because it is worth money on the market. And we also have the example of the wholesaler and the salesman who care nothing for utility either. For the purchaser of the commodity, it is a little bit more complicated. The wholesaler only cares about what can be sold, not its particular usefulness. The salesman is only paid to sell the product. He doesn't do it because he cares about its utility. He does it because he's paid. Now, a purchaser begins their trip to the market with a particular amount of money juxtaposed against the prices of producers. Now, the subjective evaluations of the producer can only be made within these constraints. If for a certain sum of money X, we may obtain commodity A. For the sum of money Y, commodity B. Or for money Z, commodity C. For each purchaser will prefer the commodity having the greater utility for him. Such an evaluation presupposes the existence of market prices. Now, as we can see, the evaluation of each individual commodity is by no means conditioned by its utility. Here's an example that's given by Böhm-Bawerk. I have only one winter coat, which someone steals from me. I cannot immediately substitute another unit of the same type for it. Having possessed only one winter coat, I shall have little inclination to bear the loss consequent upon the theft where the loss is felt most directly. I shall therefore seek to transfer the loss to other types of commodities, which I do by acquiring a new winter coat in exchange for commodities that might otherwise have been differently applied. Now, Böhm-Bawerk will sell such commodities as have least importance. Besides direct sale, the other cases may occur depending on the material situation of the economic subject. If the latter is a wealthy man, the 40 florins that he may have to pay for a new winter coat may be taken from his available cash, which may result in a corresponding decrease in expenditures for other luxuries. If he is neither wealthy nor impoverished, this decrease in his cash supply will oblige him to do without a number of things for an amount of time. Should this also be impractical, he will sell or pawn a number of articles of household furniture. Only in cases of extreme poverty will it be impossible to transfer the loss to other types of needs, and therefore necessary to dispense altogether with a winter coat. In all these cases, except the last, the evolution of the commodities is therefore an isolated evaluation, but is closely related with the evaluation of other commodities. As Böhm-Bawerk says, I am inclined to believe that the most subjective evaluations that are formed at all are ascribed to such combined evaluations, for we hardly ever estimate commodities indispensable to us by their direct utility, but always by substitutional utility of other types of commodities. Now, here's an important question. Where does he get this price of 40 florins from? What Böhm-Bawerk has done here is take market prices as a given. We would assume a purchase and sale, or even only purchase, as a necessary condition, but he presupposes an objectively given price. It's obvious that this substitutional utility developed by Böhm-Bawerk is circular reasoning. Objective value is traced back to subjective evaluation, which in turn are explained by objective value. What? But this is what he's doing, and it doesn't make any sense. Here's a simple example. No one goes to the market, estimates the value of bread by its immense subjective worth. Quite the opposite. Evaluation fluctuates around the market prices that have been established. The same is true for any other commodity. Thus, we could see that Böhm-Bawerk's example of an isolated economic actor in a fictional situation cannot be compared to a producer, a merchant, or a purchaser. Their economic motives are entirely different from that of a man in such a ridiculous situation. And a guy alone on a deserted island, two men alone in the woods. We can also see that neither the concept of use value by Marx, nor that the subjective use by Böhm-Bawerk can be taken as a basis of an analysis for price. Böhm-Bawerk's view completely contradicts reality and thus cannot explain it. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.